Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? My name is Karen Chuck. For those of you who are new to this channel, I am based in Canada, originally from Hong Kong, and I'm the host for today's 𝗵𝘆𝘀 𝗪𝗏 Global Live Chat, where we interview different professions, different background, and they're all fellow global online business partners. And today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Joanne, and she has a wonderful story to share with all of you. And without further ado, we're going to ask Joanne to share a little bit about herself so our global audience know who she is, where she's from, and all. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you so much, Karen, for having me tonight. Hello, everybody from all over the world. This is Joanne. We're coming to you live. Karen's from Canada, like she said, and I'm from the U.S. I am from Pennsylvania, USA. I'm originally from Zamboanga City, Philippines, and I came to the U.S. in 2007. You do the math. um, and so, yeah, I came to the U.S. As a physical therapist, and I've been a physical therapist for 27 years. And I have been focused on skilled nursing facilities and working with the geriatric population. Yeah, so that's me. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom of a 10-year-old beautiful girl and a wife. And yeah, and I'm an immigrant mom trying to just survive, right?
Well, thank you for the quick intro, Joanne. Now, for many of our global audience, they're probably wondering, you know what? You study hard, you got a great credential, you got a great profession. Why are you looking beyond your traditional career path? And before we get into that, probably we need to understand a little bit about why you chose the profession physical therapist to begin with, and then maybe share a little bit behind the scene of what you do every day so that we can get into your zone and know exactly how your day is like.
Okay, so the main reason why I became a physical therapist, I am the youngest of 5 kids, and our parents' dream was always to um, get out of that situation where we're always struggling. So they wanted us to come to the US. And in the Philippines, the key to be able to go abroad and work abroad and to have a life abroad is to become a nurse. Now, my mom was a nurse, and my 2 sisters are nurses, but in my heart, I didn't want to be a nurse. I was kind of like, and I think I'm always going to be a nonconformist because I have aunties and cousins that were all nurses. And I wanted to be different, I guess. I just wanted a different path. That's why I chose physical therapy, because back in that day, physical therapy was booming in the US. So, yeah, that's the reason why I became a physical therapist. Now, um, after I graduated, I didn't get the opportunity to come to the US right away, so I became a teacher. I taught for a couple of years in physical therapy school, and then after that, I got the opportunity to have an agency who can sponsor me to and found a job for me here in the US. So, like I said, in 2007, I came to the US. I started working in New Jersey in 2000. December of 2007. So from then on, it has always been physical therapy for me. Now, being a physical therapist has its ups and downs. The the main the joy and the satisfaction that I have as a physical therapist is that I'm able to help other people get better. So, like I have mentioned, I work with the geriatric population. So, they some one way for some reason or whatever medical reason they get sent to the hospital. Before they go home from the hospital, some of them have to come to a skilled nursing facility, like in a place where I work. And so the joy that I have in my job is to be able to help them get stronger, get better, be more functional, be able to move well and safely enough so that they can go back home with their families. So when we see them get discharged, it's such a joy to see them smiling and going home. But on the other hand, while we work to help other people, we also have our own struggles. Like, we also have back pains. with the constant physical lifting, pushing, carrying, it all takes a toll on our body. For those who are watching and you are probably in your 20s, 30s, and even maybe early 40s, you probably are not feeling it yet. But I have had some back injuries. So when my daughter was young, I think back in 2019, I bent over and I heard my back snap. And I was like, as a medical personnel, as a healthcare worker, your mind tends to run. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a slip disc. I'm going to have a bulging disc. And I'm going to be paralyzed. Our minds tend to like go, we will get worked up. But it was really painful. Every step I took, it really hurt like 10 over 10. Like I was screaming in pain. And so, but thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. I was not paralyzed. I just needed some steroid shots. So it's probably a strain. So yeah, so we do also have our struggles, physical mainly, and long hours. We have, have to do paperwork. We need to meet productivity. We don't only deal with physical, with the physical at work. We also have to work on our emotional and our psychological aspect of, patient care, because not all patients are happy to be with a physical therapist, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes we jokingly say PT stands for pain and torture, but because there will be some pain, and but we are not, torturing you, but it's sometimes part of the healing process in order for us to get stronger and better. So yeah, so we have to work with that. Sometimes they get angry, sometimes they just get, they say things that they don't mean, just because they're so frustrated by them, because of their own struggles. So we also have to go through that. And the one of the worst things that I have gone through as a physical therapist was when my patient died, and it was just like so sudden, and and I just cried and cried and cried. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So that's one of the things why I started the business. So yeah, so that's my background.
And I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, and thanks for sharing that. That's very informative. You mentioned that in addition to the actual treatment mandates that you have to do, because you have to have productivity as well. So you probably have a target that you need to reach, because that's the organizational mandate. Are you able to share, like, on average, what's your daily workload target is going to be? Like, let's say if it's in patient count, is it 7 patients, 20 patients? How many patients are we looking at?
Okay, so it really depends on the caseload. So some patients need more time, some patients don't need as much time. So my number of patients would vary. It can vary from, on a good day, it's going to be 8 patients. On a very heavy caseload would be 12 patients for me. Or if I don't have an assistant, then that would be maybe 13 to 14 patients. But that rarely happens. But our productivity, for me as a physical therapist, an evaluating physical therapist, I should be 90% productive.
Wow, that's quite a workload. And you
Yes.
mentioned you work long hours. So could you give the global audience an idea, what are we looking at in terms of daily, weekly hours that you have to put into?
All right. So as a physical therapist, I'm only required to work 8 hours, and that's what I'm doing now. But before I started the business, when I was younger and I was new, I was single, I I worked full time, and then I would go get a per diem job somewhere else, and just to get a little extra to be able to save more for the future. Maybe say, like save for maybe a house, or all those things, and sending back money or back home and all that. So and then there was a time that I would work on the weekends, and that would be like 8 hours to 12 hours shift. But 12 hours is rarely rare for me, but that's only when they really needed help. But that was back in the day. Things have changed lately, so we don't get to do that as much anymore. But yes, I that can vary. It really depends on what your goals are.
Mm-hmm,
But if
mm-hmm.
you really want to earn extra, I have had friends who work 12-hour days. So, excuse me, they will work 8 hours on a full-time job, and then they would work 4 hours. That's every day, regular. I didn't do that every day. I worked like, every now and then,
Hmm.
but
So,
it is being done by some.
yeah, we often do that when we're young, relatively young. We
Yes,
just overdrive, do more,
yes.
right? And are you compensated by head count, like patient count, or by salary?
I by the hour.
Oh, by the hour. Okay, that's why the
Yes,
more hour you put in, the more.
yes,
Okay, got it,
yeah.
got it. But then once we reach certain age and a physical state, our body and mind just tells us, "Hey, I think this is it." I can't
Yes.
give out too many hours. And how let's say, how many years did it take you to that point where you said to yourself, okay, I think I can't do overdrive? Like, how many years of professional work have you done before you came to that point?
Karen, you're making me do a lot of math. How many years?
Like, okay, long enough. So then,
Long enough.
if we do reverse calculation, when did you start looking beyond your traditional path? Let's say, like, was it 3 years ago, 5 years ago? What was the time that dawned on you to say, you know what, I gotta explore, I gotta look for some other ways?
All right. So it all started like 5 years ago. 2021. Anybody out here who remembers what happened back in 2020 and 2021? So in December of 2021, I got really sick.
Mm.
I got to a point where I woke up, I was out of breath. I went down the stairs. I was like so out of breath. I was like, I don't have asthma. I am not sick. Why am I so out of breath? And being a healthcare worker, I help the pulse ox, and where we um, read the oxygen saturation in our body, and it was like 73. I said, what's going on? So I was like, I got really sick. I couldn't breathe. And then my daughter cannot come, to visit me in my bedroom. And I was like, I was crying because I knew what was happening. And I was like, I was crying not because, I was gonna, pass away or anything. I was not afraid of death. I was more crying for my daughter back then, because I was like, she was 5 years old, and I waited for her for 4 years. We were married for 4 years, and we didn't get pregnant until 4 years later. And now this is it. 5 years is all I get. And we were like, when can I hold her again? Those thoughts as a mom. When can I hold her again? And then when are did we do we have enough for her future? Because she was just 5 years old. So I thank the Lord, and I'm so blessed that I recovered from that. But that totally changed my perspective in life, because I said, I don't have as much time that I thought that I have. And we never know. We never know how much time we have left. So I wanted to be ready in a way that I'm able to secure her future, and that, I will be able to spend more quality time with her. And just because I know God gave her to me, and for me to steward. He gave me that privilege to steward my daughter, and I just want to make the most out of that. So after, when I went back to work, I realized, I am here exposing myself to all this, risks. And then the owner of this building, my employer, is probably at home, quarantining, staying home, but they're still earning. And I said, I think business is the way to go. And I even told my boss, I said, boss, business is really the way to go, right? Because like we can just be home and we'll still be earning. We don't have to come every day risking our lives. Kudos to all healthcare workers. There's a reason why we are called heroes, because we just get out there and face the day. But I realized that back then I was like, there has to be a better way. So that's why I looked into Amazon and buy and selling. Where can I buy stuff, and then where can I sell it? And I didn't know what to do, how to do it. And of course, there should have been research. And then 1 year later, that was when I encountered this business. So
have you actually tried like Amazon?
No. I was like, I almost lost my job, by the way, back then. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I had job security. But because of, of what was happening, we were at risk of getting let go. So I was like, I thought I was secure as a healthcare worker. I thought I will always have a job, but I didn't. There was still that risk of losing it. I was like, what's going to happen if I lose my job? What am I going to do? But I didn't, I didn't do Amazon. It was a thought, but I didn't really try because I didn't know what to do. So I hung on to what I know, being a physical therapist.
Like history has its way of repeating itself, right? During SARS, during COVID, or post-SARS, post-COVID, and then now with the integration of AI. Like this season of my life, I'm an accredited AI certified consultant. But previously, I was in corporate executive, even teaching hospital, because my profession by training started out as a hospital staff pharmacist. So I totally get how we are the hero in the healthcare system, but at the same time, we also have physical limitations and totally understand where you're coming from. And it often takes something like what you just said, maybe a health condition or sudden epiphany, like a realization that we may not have tomorrow. Then what happened? And I recently recall back in the days, 2 decades ago, one of my hospital directors right off the bat shared with me that, Karen, everyone is replaceable. She said, if I got hit by a car today, they will replace me tomorrow. No questions asked. At the time, I was very young, and I found that reality so hard to swallow. And for someone that senior to share that right up front, I was like, wow. And that put a very strong mental stamp in my heart. And till this day, because now I see how powerful AI is and how companies are leveraging AI to the extent where they don't need that much manpower anymore. And that's why you're seeing a lot of news about restructure, layoff, elimination of entry jobs and all that. It's the reality. I know people often say, oh, AI is not going to replace us. Let's face it, it is going to replace us. It's just a matter of how human beings could reinvent ourselves or evolve in such a way so that we can leverage AI to our advantage, and not to be naive and say, oh no, AI is not going to replace us. We just have to be ahead of the game and be informed about how AI can impact us. So we're going to be the one riding the horse as opposed to letting the wild horses leading us, So I think all of us recognize that the trend is servicing faster than ever now. And I hear from a lot of people, even on social media, on news, that people are now feeling stuck. They're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. So they're looking for a way out. And this is also one of the reasons why we are sharing this platform with everybody, so everyone can be privy to what's available out there. Because if you don't explore, you don't do your studies, you don't find out for yourself what's available out there, you never know, right? That's very plain and simple. And same thing that Joanne and myself did. We knew that we wanted to create secondary stream of income by not trading extra time for money. So we look and we look and we look, and we found this global online business. Now, before I ask you the follow-up question, I wanted to remind our global audience how probably back in year 2000, I don't know the exact year, when Amazon started sharing about the concept of selling products online, where people don't get to touch, don't get to feel, don't get to smell, don't get to see it, and still buy the merchandise. back in the days, a lot of people said this was the craziest, stupidest idea because people are so used to feeling, touching, smelling, and just knowing what exactly they're getting. But fast forward, look at us now. Everybody's buying something online in a very frequent level too. Like my parents are in their 80s. They're buying like every other day because now the online platform covers shipping, logistics, everything. So it's actually way cheaper than them getting out of their homes and then go to a shopping mall, then check all different retail shops, compare prices, and then do all the legwork, you know? So this is the name of the game right now. Everybody is now accustomed to the online platform versus back in the years when this whole concept was so innovative, but people were like pushing it, objecting it, and saying, no, this is such a dumb idea, or even saying this is the scam. You know, so I wanted to share that history with everybody, and in terms of reminding everybody how we need to be open and be receptive. Most importantly, be humble enough, like put our ego aside and be humble enough to learn about what's available out there. So I think that's why Joanne and myself, you know, we stay humble, open, and we have the growth mindset, and then we seek and keep seeking. In addition to, we actually pray and then we seek, right? So Joanne, 5 years ago, you were searching and then you found, how did you find this global online business?
So I wasn't really like searching. It actually found me, I think, because a year after that, what happened to me in my health, my classmate from college, they usually come visit our area. There's a ski resort. I live in Pennsylvania, so we have some ski resorts in our area. So, and he said like, Joanne, how far is Camelback from your house? I said 45 minutes. It's not that far. Oh, we're celebrating New Year over there. Do you want to meet up? So I said, yeah, sure. Like, so, you know, me and my husband and my daughter, we went there and we hung out, and you know, he just we just connected, and said, he asked me like, how are you doing? How's work and all that. I was like, I'm so tired. I want to retire like right now. And then he said like, yeah, I know and I understand. And that's why I started my online business. And I was like, what online business? So going back like a history, I didn't see anything because my Facebook was deactivated. I was a very private person, and I just, you know, I was not active on Facebook. I would say hi, you know, during my birthday, I would turn it on. During Christmas, I would turn it on, just, you know, to look around. And then, but I wasn't really looking. So yeah, so he was the one who introduced the business to me, and I said, what business? And he showed me, you know, his results, and he also, he used to work. He is from a family of 10. You know, he was my classmate. I knew some of his history. I knew how he struggled in college, and I knew how it was for him here supporting his family. You know, he worked 2, 3, even 4 jobs in order to support his family here and his family back home. And he's just like, you know, somebody that I truly admire. And I was like, there is another way. So he said, what's your email? So I gave my email, and I got the information. I watched, you know, the complimentary webinar, and I was like, okay. And then I don't know, do you want me to continue what happened next?
So he was your classmate from university, so he was also a physical therapist.
Yes.
So he worked multiple jobs, and then he found this global online business and incorporate that into his overall portfolio. Wow, that's just amazing. I mean, he must have been a super hardworking individual.
He is, because like you know, he like I said, he had his family here. He was supporting his family back home. He was a physical therapist. He became a director of, you know, a skilled nursing facility. He also had his certification in geriatric physical therapy. So like, he is like just all around, and I truly, you know, admire him. Coach, if you're listening,
maybe I should invite your coach too next time. Share the story. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask something. Let me just think back because there's so many nuggets that you're sharing. Oh yes, when you watched the webinar, that was the first phase. What stood out to you? What caught your attention from the webinar?
It was the testimonials mainly, and then I had to watch it. I was, so what is this all about?
Mm.
So I found out like what I need to start an online business. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the three pillars of an online business. And I
Mm-hmm.
found out that, every day, and towards the end, I saw like everyday people like me, like everyday people like me. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're, succeeding in the business. And I was like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, what's the next step? And then my friend said that, okay, just, pay the registration fee. It's refundable within 30 days or before the coaching call. I said, for more information, for more details. And I was like, okay, it's refundable. It's 149. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, how much do I spend on Amazon? You know what I
Or
mean?
even your dinner.
For dinner, like,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, it's refundable. What have I got to lose? So I paid it, and I found, I watched all the videos and I wrote down all my questions. Believe me, I had I had a printing paper full of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah. And then after 10 days I became a business owner.
So when you register, you watch the patent, business, and compensation model details.
Mhm.
What was that single one thing that stood out, and you're like, oh, this is it. This is something that I gotta take the next steps.
Um, so basically, it wasn't on the are we talking about the
Yeah,
pre-coaching video?
the pre-coaching videos. Yes.
Okay. So what really stood out to me is that with the compensation plan, I was like, wow, I don't have to reach so many people, and then I can get up to this level, and I
Mm-hmm.
can get this. I can get some commission, even though I don't have to spend thousands, sell thousands of products. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and I don't have to do the selling. We have a system that does that for me. So, like being an introvert, I said that would work for me. This is great. And I was like, this is for me. And then I was like, yeah. So it was a compensation plan, and then the system. And one of the great things that really like pulled me into the business was seeing the results
Mm-hmm.
of everyday people
Yeah.
in our private group.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was it.
And it's worth sharing with the global audience that with the registration fee, it actually gives the individual access to our private Facebook community where you get to see everyday people succeeding and their stories and their journeys and their insights. And we're talking about, as of today, 280,000 plus people around the world who's already part of this VIP community. And that's also one of the areas that caught my attention because I knew in my head that if this was made up, whoever organized this would have to pay a ton of money to pay these individuals to share their stories. So when you look at all the stories, it's just so empowering and inspirational, from all walks of life. We got doctors, nurses, physical therapists, accountants, you name it, even like mom with newborn kids, because the success for this business is anyone who's got the desire to thrive, anyone who's coachable, anyone who can follow a proven blueprint. It's like how we learn ABC. If you're willing to learn the language, follow the steps, then you can do it. It's a matter of how coachable you are. And I love what you mentioned. We're not selling the product, the system, the business system actually takes care of that for us, right? And the automation takes care of a lot of the heavy lifting, which is why this is totally a game changer. Is not like Amazon where you have to be hands-on, involved, very much involved with end-to-end logistics, the merchandising aspect, the shipping aspect, the client management aspect, the quality assurance aspect. There's just so many pieces, and that's why when I pray to God, when I wanted to work, look for an online business model, I said I don't want any of those. and I said, I know you know where, this exists. Please reveal to me. So when you watch everything and you kind of finish your homework, then your next step was to schedule a strategy call with the coach. And the intent is to look at what business startup package you can choose from, right? And that's where the strategy come about, because we have a wide range of business startup options that people can choose from, and that's something that the individual can decide and discuss with the coach. Now, I often like to share with people, our global online business is similar to a franchise model, right? A franchise model giving you the know-how and giving you the success strategies and all that. And as a franchise business manager, let's say I wanted to introduce this franchise model to somebody else. We're selling the system. We're selling the business system. We're not selling the burger or the fries. We're actually selling the business system that will help you generate income. So, that's why we love leveraging the automation and the actual business system to elaborate and explain to those who are interested in understanding what we're talking about, because otherwise we'll be here for like hours and hours and hours, right? And that's why we're busy already with our professional work. So leveraging the system to do the sharing and to do the elaboration is why a lot of us chose this global online business. Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because we know how tedious and how, being in business, if you imagine yourself being in a business, you have to actually be there. Let's say you have a pizza restaurant and you have to actually be there. If you don't have a cook, you probably are the one who's baking all the pizza, and you have to sell them, be the cashier, do the cleaning, do the setup, pay for your bills, the electricity and water and heat,
overhead, everything, headaches.
You have to handle all of that. But when you go online, the system does that for you. And then our affiliated companies, they're the ones who handles, the shipping and customer service and, all the payments and commissions and all that. They take care of that. So
yes. And again, without sharing too much details, because we do believe that the right people should do their homework and not to just watch the trailer and then pretend that you've watched the full movie. So the affiliate company offers lucrative high ticket commission. We're not talking about people call it lotion potion. We're not talking a couple of bucks, here and there. No. We're talking about high ticket commission check. That's why everybody is so fond of sharing this model with others who's looking for a secondary stream of income. And we receive official tax document from this company. And that's why this is such a legit, legal, the most ingenious model out there. And otherwise, all of our professional fellow business partners wouldn't be part of it, because we work so hard to earn our credentials, to earn all of our licenses. So we would never put ourselves at risk, right? And hence we have so many highly intelligent fellow business partners, PhD, master, everybody. And really all it takes is curiosity to find out what exactly are they talking about. What's I don't think anyone outside of the online world have seen something like this, because this online platform was only established back in 2016. But the affiliated company that's well-renowned, well-established, has been around for 51 years. So it's important to do your homework before you disregard this amazing global online business opportunity. Now, I wanted to ask you, if you were to go back to 5 years ago, before you start this business, if you were to give yourself one single advice about your global online business, what would you tell your younger self? If you can time travel and say,
Time
"Hey,
travel.
Joanne, say, Joanne, I'm from the future. You're about to, get into your global online business. This is what I would like to tell you." What would you say?
Exactly. So, Joanne, once you're introduced to a digital business, take it, do it, because that is the future.
Yeah, yeah. And remind me, did you take it right away, or you took some time to kind of digest and then enjoy the learning process? What was your reaction like?
So, like, when I paid, no, when I watched the webinar, that was like over the New Year's, and then I paid my 149 after 4 days, and then I became a business owner after 6 days. So it's
Mm,
a total of kind of like 10 days, 9 to 10 days before I became an official business owner. So it didn't take me too long. I already, after watching the 149, I knew how I wanted to start, and I was so excited when I first started that I was just like, I said, my feet are already wet. I might as well dive in. So
mhm.
that's what I did. I dove in and I went through the training. I was coachable. I was very coachable. Whatever my coach told me to do, I did, and I was like into the training. In every small pockets of time that I have during the day. When I first started, when I had to set up my business, I spent more time initially. Like I would wake up early, and then
Mhm.
I would use the pockets of time during the day, and then
Mhm.
when I would sleep late just to set it up. But once it was set up, I you know s- took a step back and let the system work. Of course, I
Mhm.
still have to work until now. There are still things to be done, but most of the things are done by the system. So yeah.
Yeah. And no different than any traditional business, right? You have
Yes.
to first set things out and build the foundation, except that this has a proven blueprint and established ecosystem infrastructure so you can follow step by step at your own pace, right? We have our training sites, we have a marketing sites, we have automation, we have so much more. Now, um, you are in the business for 5 years now. And can you share with the global on 3 years, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking five. Yeah. Okay. So 3 years now. Can you share with the global audience what are the three things that you um, accomplish in terms of self development?
Three things. First, I believe number one is mindset. I found out what mindset was, because like any business is not easy. We have made it simple, but it's not easy. So we need to have that strong mindset that I can do this. Okay. So, because like, if we don't have a firm belief in what we're doing, if we don't have a firm belief in our business, it's gonna die off. So we always have to work on that mindset. In our mastermind last night, she said that it's not 80, it's actually 90% mindset, because we all will go through difficulties and hardships and challenges, and it's easy. Our subconscious, our will say it can be done. This is not comfortable. You have to take a step back. But that's what our subconscious would say. But if we are more mindful, like, this is going to change my life. It has changed thousands of lives. It can change mine. I will do this, and go back to the why. Why you started the business, why I started the business. Because if we don't go back to why we started this business, we can just easily like fade away.
Hmm.
We can just let it go and give up. It's easy. Giving up is easy.
Yeah.
It's easy
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
But to keep going is not as easy. So that's the mindset. And then another thing is confidence. I never did a go live in my entire life until I started this business.
Hmm.
I did say I was coachable, but the one struggle that I really had when I first started was when my coach said, Joanne, just go live in our group. I was like, it's okay, coach, maybe next week. I was like, coach, maybe that was the number one struggle that I had, is
Hmm.
to get in front of the camera and just talk about, myself, what I'm going through, where I'm from. But you know what? Once I stepped out one day, I think it was like 4 weeks or 5 weeks after I started, and I did my go live, and I was like, I didn't melt. Nobody laughed at me. I wasn't ridiculed. I didn't like disappear, or nothing happened to me. And because whatever we do something scary or new, our bodies say, oh, that's not safe. Run away. And that's just our natural, psychology.
Protective mechanism.
Yeah. So this is how we were built.
Yeah.
So, but if you push through, it's like, it's okay. I'm going to keep doing it. And once you realize, oh, I'm still standing, let me do it again. And I did it on the grocery store. And then I did a small go live when we were at a track and field in New York. And I just like, when I was, driving the car, and eventually I started my first interview. And my first interview was with my coach because I was comfortable with him. So it was easy. And once you just keep doing the most challenging things that you need to do, it gets easier. Yes. The only way you can gain confidence is for me, to just keep doing it over and over again. And it becomes more automatic. My first go live, my hands were sweaty, my heart was beating really fast. But this time, it's not as bad because I know that I've done it before.
Fantastic. Because you mentioned you're an introvert, which I could not tell at all. I mean, you don't look like, you don't sound like, you don't, perceive as an introvert. So that's amazing. And so you said mindset, confidence, and what was the third one?
It's the most important one for me, I believe, is that belief. The belief of there's a bigger reason why I am here, is that because God gave me, like I said, we are just ambassadors in this world. He gave us the opportunity to have this business, and he's going to use it for a greater purpose.
Yes.
I don't know what that greater purpose is, but I know it's to help others one way or the other. And one of my goals is to be able to support more students back in the Philippines, more impoverished. Because when I used to teach, like I mentioned, I used to teach at a college in the Philippines, in the College of Physical Therapy. And I would like to honor those students who are working hard, they are smart, but they are not able to, pay their tuition fees and all that. So I said, Lord, if I get to the US, I would support, the students back home. And so that's one of my goals. I've already started in one of the ministries back home. And I just know that God is using this platform for me to bless more.
Yes.
And not just the students, other families, just like me. This is a platform that I can expand my territory. Not just my family, not just my immediate family, not just my workplace, but globally.
Yes.
Like my hair standing on end because I was like, can you just imagine your territory being expanded because of technology?
Yep.
It's just amazing. There's no barrier.
Yes, I totally agree with you 100%, because in our traditional career path, we could only help so many people. But then with this global platform, we're able to, like you said, extend our global reach and help so many more people, and even organizations and kids, underprivileged kids. And there's just so much that can be done. And that's why, with this mission in mind, many of us had breakthrough, broke our shell, and share openly in public forum like this, because without sharing, nobody would know what's available out there, what to look for, why they have to do some homework to figure out why this is such an opportunity that they need to understand and dive in further. So it's amazing, because otherwise you and I would never meet, right? And it's because of this global online business community, we're able to connect with one another as well as connecting with our fellow business partners. It's such an amazing thing, because human connection, like-minded and positive energy, this is what we need in this world, right? And people watching now, some of them might be introvert. They're like, oh, you mean I got to go live? I got to do this and that. I don't know I could do it. Trust us. You're going to take baby steps. And you as an entrepreneur, you can have your own way of following the proven blueprint and still have your own style. It doesn't have to be a certain way. This is just one of the many ways that we decided to use, right? So this makes it very fun because you're your own boss with a structure, franchise, business model in a box. Even when you're traveling, you're able to do your business with pockets of times, like Joanne mentioned, pockets of times. How much time do you now spend on average in managing this business?
It's on average, it's like 1 to 2 hours per day.
Yeah.
There was a time that it kind of like dwindled.
Yeah.
But now I'm committing more, because like if you want to make your business work, you got to work on your business.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
If you want your business to pay you as a business, you have to treat it like a business and not like a hobby.
Exactly. No different than a traditional business model, because if you don't show up, you won't have any business. Right? Yes. Yeah. So now we're into 45 minutes of this interview. Let's say, Joanne, some of our global audience is sitting on the fence. They really want something more out of their life, but they just don't know whether they should take the next step. What would your advice, what would your single piece of advice be to the fence sitters?
Just do it. Karen and I, we were in Punta Cana in Dominican Republic last month, and one of the things that struck me the most, one of my key takeaways was from Coach Eden, was to just do it. Yes. If this video, if our conversations and our testimonies is tugging on your heart and makes you think that maybe this is worth taking a look, just do it. You can see our websites. Your first step is to just go to either of our websites and just simply enter your name and your email address and watch that webinar, just like we did, just like the other 250,000 plus people.
280 did. Now.
280,000. It's growing really fast.
Really fast. Yes.
Yeah. So just do it. See for yourself. I know you still have a lot of questions, because I did, even before the coaching call. I still had a lot of questions, but we did take that first step. And that is one thing. If you want a change, if you're asking yourself, is this all there is to life for me? Do I have to do this until I'm 65? Do I still have to do this until I'm 75? Am I going to retire with this job, whatever I'm doing right now? Because I really thought that I will be retiring at 75, not at 65, knowing that, with all the economy and what's going on with all the prices. So I said, there's no way that I'm going to retire. But I found this opportunity that I will be able to retire sooner rather than later. We just need you to see for yourself, get in, see the community, and you can see everyday people. It's amazing how these everyday people have had success in this business, and if they can do it, you can too. All right.
Totally agree. You just have to do your homework, because nobody can make a decision for you. You have to do your homework. We're here to inform you that there's a better way, and you just have to take the next steps. And there's no harm, there's no risk, because we mentioned that you get to watch the complimentary webinar. You get to find out behind the scenes what the patent business and compensation model is about, and it's totally refundable within 30 days if you decide not to proceed with it. So what have you got to lose? Really, what have you got to lose? So again, if you were led to this global live chat through Joanne's webpage, feel free to go to her webpage and register and find out more. And if you found out about this global live chat through my page, feel free to go to my website and register your email and find out more. At the end of the day, we can't do it for you. You got to make the decision to find out more. Until then, well, thank you so much, Joanne, for sharing your story, your journey. Really, really appreciate you. I'm sure many could now think a little bit clearer and take away the nuggets that you share and be able to make an informed decision. So thank you again on behalf of our audience, and I am very appreciative of you. And we're now going to say goodbye to everybody, and thank you for
Bye.
watching, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Karen, for
Thank
this opportunity.
you.
Bye, all. Thank you for watching.